And the big news from the Browns. Baker Mayfield has finally been traded. And that's where we begin tonight with the voice of the Browns, Jimmy Donovan. Good evening, Jim.
Good evening, Russ. Good evening, Laura. It finally happened. Baker Mayfield is finally going to the Carolina Panthers. I say finally because, remember, this was the team that was always in the mix for a Baker Mayfield trade away from the Browns. On draft night, it looked as though the two teams were ready to swing a deal, and then it fell apart. And then it really fell apart after that, and it seemed as though the Browns were playing the game of poker, holding on to Baker Mayfield, seeing if the Panthers would come back. And finally, they did today, and it's amazing, this story. Baker Mayfield, a guy that came in at the top of the NFL draft, being traded away for a fifth-round conditional draft choice in 2024. You beg the question, what the heck happened here?
Well, it's all over. Baker Mayfield is gone. Where do you line up on Baker Mayfield? 4 years of Mayfield took its toll on the Browns, on Browns fans, and on Mayfield too. He was the flashy Heisman Trophy Award winner who came to Cleveland to save the Browns, and he did that. He did it the very first time he went out onto the field. Remember, September 20th, 2018, a Thursday night against the Jets. It had been 635 days since the Browns had won a game, and he won it.
Is this how it feels? Is this how it feels to win?
His rookie year saw him break the all-time record for touchdown passes thrown by a rookie quarterback. Cleveland had been praying since the Kosar days to finally have a quarterback, and Mayfield looked like we struck gold. But his second year was a mess. Freddie Kitchens was his coach, but nobody coached Mayfield. He was given anything he wanted, and a 6-10 season followed. Coaches fired. There was now doubt about Mayfield. Enter Kevin Stefanski, who decided Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt, that was going to be the way the Browns would win. Mayfield would just manage the game. And it worked. But in a frantic drive to get a playoff spot, Mayfield got red hot and led the Browns like a franchise quarterback should to the postseason.
And Baker Mayfield takes a knee, and the clock will wind down. An amazing story. The Browns will get their 11th win of the year. They'll go to 11-5, and they're going to the playoffs.
A win in Heinz Field over the Steelers followed, and Baker was our guy. 2021. The Browns still had long-term doubts about Mayfield. No contract extension. Mayfield can't rally the Browns in the opener at Arrowhead Stadium against the Chiefs. Game 2, the torn labrum. And believe me, it was all downhill from there. Week to week, he plays hurt. OBJ's dad says Mayfield is killing his son's career. Odell wants out and gets to the Rams. Mayfield is a mess down the stretch. More injuries, more frustration. COVID hits him, and he's a shadow of the brassy Bull quarterback who arrived in 2018. This offseason has been a Brown soap opera, and Mayfield was right in the middle of it, but then on the outside of it, looking in, when the Browns traded for Deshaun Watson.
I feel disrespected, 100%, because I was told one thing and they completed another.
So here is Mayfield's Cleveland legacy. He was hot and cold. He played with fire, but he started a lot of fires too with his mouth. His teammates loved him, but then he wore them down, and his coaches too. But in defense of him, he had too many coaches in too short a period of time. So good luck to Baker Mayfield. Remember, he led all of us out of a very dark time for Cleveland Browns football. He just couldn't take us all the way.
All right, the financial part of this deal is very important, okay? The number to remember was, he was going to be paid $18.86 million this season, no matter where he played. So here's the breakdown. Carolina is only going to pick up $4.85 million of that. The Browns are picking up $10.5 million just to get him off of their roster and off their payroll. He goes to Carolina, and they pay most of the freight. The rest of the money he took in a pay cut. He took a salary cut so that the deal would be consummated and he could get to training camp coming up in a few weeks in Carolina. One last point. How about September 11th, opening day? The Browns are in Carolina taking on the Panthers. There's a good chance Baker Mayfield will be the starting quarterback to face his old team in game number 1. Who will play quarterback for the Browns? To be determined. Laura and Russ?
What a story. And you, Jim Donovan, you tell it best, of course. Thanks so much.
You got it.
We'll see you later in sports.